because okay, cool. Now, if I can just figure out how to do screen share and so forth. Let's see, edit.
I can see myself in the background.
I like to look at your background. Anyway, I can't figure out the screen share, so I will do at least the initial review. And then I can at least I can explain thing. But yeah, DB infusions is what I've come across recently. These are the cherry. It's the 100 milligram. It's 100 milligram Delta 8, and I like normally with Delta 8 gummy or with edibles in general. Actually, I tend to get a lower effect just because just how it was. I mean, they are effective, but like I really kind of have to be doing edibles uh, in a like certain way and everything else, and just kind of because of how they go with me to get like the full recreational. But I will use them where okay, I'm going to be going out and like Dragon Con is one of a good situation where I will take that and be able to be able to just basically go. And then about the time, about how long it is that I normally would start just kind of like, okay, I really need to take a break. Well, that's about the time that the gummies usually kick in. These, oh God, yeah, I was not, when he said 10 minutes, I was like, okay, yeah. It actually took about 15 for me to actually start feeling them. And so, yeah, regardless, 10, 15 minutes, yeah, I guess I was surprised that I was like, wow, I'm actually feeling this and all. And so, yeah, I kind of had to sit down. But yeah, at about 15 minutes is where does I actually started feeling the onset and began the normal, self inventory. Okay, cool. I've got the usual, all the different, stuff you get from, from your various deltas. And then about a half hour was where it is that it was like it just kind of ended like, okay, cool. Now we are at cruising altitude that this is going to be at, and it's actually like really nice. And then in about 45 minutes, where it is, it started to peak, where you had that just anybody who's gotten high, you had that just like, oh wow, and, oh my God, it's just the universe or whatever it is, thing. But yeah, that lasted about like 15 minutes, just that kind of just nice little like warm, comfy sensory overload. It kind of like gives your brain a chance to defrag. Last about 15 minutes. The time dilation effects were interesting. Like I found out, oh crap, I realized in about 15 minutes, I was like, this has got about a 4 to 6 to 1 ratio. So that 15 minutes is going to end up feeling like anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on your time dilation perception. For me, this is about a 4 to 1. But yeah, I could definitely see where if I had actually taken a full tolerance break or something, and actually, if I was to actually do like a full 30-day full cycle tolerance break, I would say that this would have definitely been formidable. 100 milligrams is for somebody who's experienced, who's got a basic tolerance, who pretty much knows what it is they're doing. One of the also things to address too is overdose. Um, that's the thing a lot of people don't understand. Yes, you actually can in fact overdose on anything. If it has a dose, you can go over this. Now with pot, no, you will not die. You are not in danger or anything else. But yeah, you'll probably end up puking. You will probably just sit there and just kind of curl up and just kind of wish that God strike you down because you never want to feel this way again. Yeah, a pot overdose is entertaining if once you realize what it is and you kind of just learn to deal with the sensory overload and you learn to kind of enjoy that and kind of control it and shape what you're perceiving within that sensory overload, then yeah, it thing. But that's one thing I keep hearing people talking about with thing now with these because the fact that yeah, they are definitely that for a first time user. If you have never done anything, 100 milligrams is will that will probably put you like at the top end of say like you will probably but yeah you are going to be sitting on the couch contemplating the universe and your belly button for a good hour and a half, for starters. So but for your just general for, your general like weekend recreational user something like that, uh these actually would be yeah this would be the equivalent of you sit there you smoke a blunt and you'd be about right there for somebody with an actual tolerance or whatever else. And yeah, 100 milligrams at least in the gummies is pretty much what would be my as you can see I'm coherent whatever else. My mouth is not because I have mild aphasia to begin with, so occasionally that ends up getting amplified or more easily triggered off just the thing. I just it's pretty much aphasia is actually technically is also considered a it's in like the petite mal seizure category because of the fact of just mechanically it is misfiring up the brain in such a way and everything. It's just yeah it was I had a discussion with somebody that uh it was actually kind of interesting about just the actual mechanics of that. But anyway, uh yeah, I am having like not really trouble, but yeah, I just if I'm not doing a specific task or whatever else, then I am having a little bit of just. But that's also just me. I'm a high functioning autistic, so that's part of why it is that I use this. In fact, my walls are on somewhere, but I actually am like legitimately on my state medicinal program too. So being able to find like Delta 8 stuff and especially like street like the actual state legal Delta 9s that I've been able to find are also really good. I did try some of the there's actually a couple of things that I had tried before that were God, I can't remember who did them or whatever. But yeah, some of the like the state level, state legal Delta 9 stuff actually is pretty good. There's like some 6 milligram gummies, or yeah, 6 gram gummies. Like the gummies themselves are like 6 grams. But they're like I think it's like 15 milligrams. And I mean, yeah, I could sit there, I could pop 4 or 5 of those, and and actually be effective. These, yeah, I just did the one. This I did the one, and it took about I it's hard to describe because it's like, wow, this was interesting. I've never had something that fast acting that was actually that effective and is actually holding on as like this is where like this I is basically like the equivalent if I had smoked a blunt with my morning coffee, then yeah, I pretty much am about the same place. And let's see, right now it's what 9 o'clock in the morning. Uh, yeah, I mean, 2 hours after, I should say, yeah, basically 2 hours after onset, and it's still going on. The thing with with most edibles that I've tried, it's either they just kind of like you don't get any recreational effect, but you do get the cool. I'm just kind of like the equivalent of smoking a like kind of like the higher end of the low grade sativas where you don't really get high. You're just trying to just, hey, cool, I'm here. I either get that or I end up getting just. This is actually the first time I've come across edibles that are because I'm having the same experience as if I had actually smoked bud and did what I normally do. So I'm actually like legitimately impressed. So yeah, I definitely like these. Uh, there's also chocolate that I'm waiting to try. I need to actually get that shaped and actually cut into some sort of graduated chunk, so that way it's like no, because yeah, if 100 milligrams is having this, I'm like, I am not about to try to do 500 milligrams unless I am going to just sit there with some Cheech and Chong and some Moody Blues. So anyway, I can't do screen share like it is that I wanted to, but yeah, as soon as I actually get like links and whatever actual thing for like any online store and everything. But if you happen to be in the Cartersville area, there's actually it's Prestige Vapor up on Tennessee Street. That uh, is one of the places that are up here. So okay, yeah, these are definitely going to be good for when I'm doing a lot of like design and building work, especially because I tend to have where if I'm in design mode or if I'm building or whatever, my language skills are the last thing that I need because I'm not talking to anyone. I am concentrating on what it is that I'm doing. So yeah, that's affecting my mouth to begin with, but yeah, definitely. If you're gonna do the gummies, I would definitely suggest you start off doing these where you don't have to worry about whether you're interacting with anybody and sounding like you have done gummies. So anyway, I'm going to cap this off so that way I can actually get to what I'm going because I have on the realm of the nerf herder thing that is actually like the name of the map that I'm doing. I'm doing a 30,000 block wide Minecraft map that will ultimately be the map I play on for the rest of my life. Like I really do not see myself unless there's like some actual like major change, then I may end up going and finding a segment of the world that I have not yet explored and just go and let new whatever generate. Um, More likely, if they go and they switch terrain generation to like 119, I'll probably redo the flying island part. And uh, I might go and take an additional like 2,000 of the new Flying Island one. If you actually look at the map, the Flying Island thing is really cool. But it's a 30,000 block wide map. It's a flying island area in the center with a flat land under it. And then default terrain out from whatever point to about 30,000. And that's 15,000 from zero. So it kind of looks like a square Target logo. Is basically the best way I could describe it. And then from there, from where the spawn is, I'm actually going to create a mass rail transit system and everything. The whole thing is going to be this like planetary colony that I'm building, and and then villagers and players are either the natives of the planet who just okay, I'm allowing them to live on my planet now because there's actually a whole little storyline in the back that I do want to try to do a sequel uh to Journey to the Savage Planet, but it's more along the lines of because at the beginning of the game you find that you're allowed you find out that the goal is to either decide to stay on the planet or to get home. And so uh, I kind of had this idea where uh, if it was me and I woke up and had a AI, I had a biological 3D printer, and I wanted to see whether or not my top game was good enough to convince the AI to tell the company, fuck off. Uh, this planet and all the alien tech on it is mine. Because if you think you can get here before I can figure out the weapons, feel free to try to do so. Otherwise, if you want to have people like me going and doing your dirty work for you, you're sorry, So like I said, I have a kind of a couple of just more Deadpool or Rick kind of power fantasies on that, but just basically what it is that if I could have from the beginning unlocked all of the different stuff and just the fact of having the 3D printer and everything it could do in the real world was kind of equivalent to in Minecraft, where I could do a slash give X number of blocks, tools, things like that, because the whole premise of the 3D printer, you could take just any rocks, biological matter, whatever else, just reconstitute it into whatever. And so I just kind of just like basically not, went through all that. And then this whole thing is that planetary colony. And so there's that one part that's actually guiding this specific set of design elements that are going to be going in, such as like the fast travel system and things like that. And just basically kind of what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in as world building or whatever else, because I don't know if I'm actually going to get back to playing that game, but I was just like, that would be a really cool sequel or whatever else to it. It's just I don't feel like trying to actually build that game or deal with then getting licensing. Um, on the other hand, there's also because with the Imperial Nerf Herder, I have the basic character concept of a fanfic character that has become sentient. And from there, it goes off into just whatever it is I need it to be for what I'm working on, whether it's I'm working on Tron Legacy stuff or I'm working on Fallout or if I'm working with any of the other design elements and all. I have an entire set of fanfic universes that I could drop in and be like, okay, this thing was from this particular set of historical circumstances, and in the course of those events would have been subjected to A, B, and C, and so I know where to put leathering. I know where to scratch the hell out of it. I know where to make it shine. I know what all of the things were being handled over several hundred years to a piece of military hardware that the tech maintains, etc. This is just kind of a thing that you do, and also just because like, I'm still a kid inside, and so this is my inner child having their little playground to do whatever. Uh, but underneath all of that, I'm an inventor working on assistive mobility projects, other things that are going into all of that. And so the Minecraft map is something that I'm doing. Ow, okay, yeah, sorry, I did get off topic there for a minute. One of the fanfic characters in my whole little thing going on is an off-screen character in Fringe, who, because of all of the different things with the dimensional intersections and like the Marvel incursions, well, if the incursion is going on in any given Marvel universe, that means it is also going on the other planet. And the Marvel thing is, hey, we exist because we have won every incursion that happened. Well, that's what this guy's job is. Because of the events of Fringe, he ends up getting powers. Now, and has a workshop as part of his contract. He's able to save parts of worlds that he likes, because he obviously has to destroy the other world to save theirs, and that's his job because he has the ability to do so. And other than that, was like I really didn't need to make up much more of the plot line to it, so it kind of sounds so stupid when I describe it. Um, And so this massive thing is one of his project Workbase, where he also has a sideline business where he sells custom planets and even universes to wealthy clients. From like sort of like from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but more like Chimera Kusa, which is an anime that uh, I really can't say how this works without spoiling the whole thing, because it's just, I love how when you actually watch it, you find out what actually is going on and why this is all. It's like I'm watching the surveillance video that was attached to a industrial accident report. It's just, yeah, that, believe me, if you've ever watched it, or if you get around to watching Chimera Kusa, you'd be like, yeah, damn, that is actually that kind of right if you look at it a certain way. Oh, excuse me. And so, but that's what this is that's this guy's, thing. So, that's where the whole building the map is coming in, and that part of it is, on more that whole storyline, whereas the infrastructure is going to be this, and then I've got other things, and so it's not so much a I'm trying to do this whole cast of characters thing in my head. It's just that certain things that I'm doing just kind of drifted more towards one thing or another, because I'm also going to be trying to do games, such as with the Planetary Colony. I am going to actually put in things like auto farms and a bunch of other stuff just way off whatever, so that the players can find it. The primary thing of this map is actually going to be for a friends and family server that I'm going to have open to the public. Basically, like things like a lot of other YouTubers and Twitch people do, where they have the server that members and fans can check out. I will probably do either observer mode or adventure mode for non-members. And then be able to do creative mode, or survival mode for people who are actually members or whatever. Just a lot of stuff that everybody just already kind of knows about, or just how all of that works. But the whole point is this big 30,000 thing map. And like I said, there's the 10,000 floating island. Underneath that is a flatland, which has like 7 or 8 naturally generating strongholds. I really want to kind of put in some. And also, oh my god, yeah, the mine shafts. That's why I can't wait till I actually get into amulet, because and then actually set the ceiling height of what I'm going to do, and then just because the way that strongholds generate in the new flatland is you will see uh, parts of it. You will see the fountain. You will see doors. You will see some of the various things, uh, and uh, while structure generation has cave air inside. And so you have the mine shaft where you can do it, and then you actually have to go and you have to kind of fill in all of the different parts of it, like run the floor between like this door and here, and then you can kind of remember how big the fountain room is or whatever. I found a good thing in World Edit. You go and you set point one, point two, and then everything within that, you just replace the cave air with glowstone, or you replace air with glass, and you get this just nice box with a hollow space inside that is the entire shape of the stronghold. But with the stronghold, you at least get things like some of the floor pieces, not many, but you get the doors and archways, and you get a couple of wall pieces, and you can say, okay, this is what it is. Now the portal room actually generates full with a floor and all lava and everything. The libraries do not have. I can't remember. Yeah, they do not have floor underneath the bottom layer. It does have the walkway on the second floor. Um, and then yeah, I can't remember. I don't think it has the walls either. But the portal rooms do generate, complete. Mine shafts, on the other hand, are completely invisible. The planks, the chains, none of that actually generates, or at least not visible. But it does. I can. But when you go and you replace all of the cave air with glowstone, uh, you actually can see gaps where I know that I know where chains would be, and there's actually a channel through the glowstone that you replace the cave air with, where those chains would be. So the blocks themselves do flag, or at least as far as I can tell, they do flag as what they are, or they just do not flag as cave air, at least. I have to actually find out how that specifically works. But either way, if you can kind of see it, it's like, yes. So the all of the things like the chains that you would see, the posts, whatever, stairways, or anything else that you would find in the mine shafts is there. Because this entire 10,000 block flatland is going to be underneath this 10,000 floating island, it's going to be dark down there. So I will be going and taking everything from like 30 or 35 or something like that, because the ground on the flatland is at 0. So I'll be taking like up to 30, up to see maybe 35, make sure that I've got all of my strongholds that are generated. If mine shafts get cut off, I don't care. Uh, but take it up to that, and then uh, the ground level, the 0, will be aligned with 0 in the main map. And the floating islands, uh, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure that the lowest level is like maybe 13 or 14. I can't remember. But either way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the thing, and anywhere where a village is going to get transplanted in and would be intersect, anything from the floating island is where it is. I will actually paste the air as well, so that way it automatically carves out for villages. Uh, and then as it goes along, because I want to try to have variation to a lot of things. Some of it's really hard to explain because I know what this, and this do with the editor and how it's going to render, what the ultimate effect is going to be. And just like, God, I can't describe it. But you end up with a really nice and somewhat realistic kind of, this is the underworld, and these are the caverns that go, and the flying island. The 118 is much denser. It's more like there are tunnels riddled throughout from surface to, down to bedrock, or down to the void underneath, really. Uh, Whereas the 117 floating island generation was more, there were islands that were all floating in the void. So I really do kind of like the 117 floating island generation a little bit better. But with what it is that I'm doing, it definitely works really good, because you have this fully developed. There are villages that have crops, blacksmiths, stone cutters. I mean, villages are villages. I can't remember if there's a mansion or not down in the flatland. There will be, regardless, because I'm just going to copy and paste a couple out of other maps and just throw them down there. But there's going to be like that. From outside of the floating island and flatland thing, there's going to be just default terrain. So all the way from down to -64 all the way up to build limit is just going to be regular, regular thing, out to about 30,000. And then in the north, south, east, and west, I have an additional 6,000 block terrain that is going to be put in and raised up. So like giant towers, like at the ends of the earth. So there's going to be these giant towers at the ends of the earth. And then underneath those are going to be another, like one more additional that I've actually put under all four. Or at least under three of them. I haven't decided whether or not one of them gets its own underworld because it's kind of like my personal little project. But there's an additional, so there's four more kingdoms. Each has their own underworld, and that underworld is another default terrain. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 default 5 maps, but it's done as 4 double-decker pairs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the underworld map. So there's that, off in each of the things. I've got a pyramid that I need to actually get back again because I think I may have corrupted the one that I was working on. But it was somebody had it that they were just like, hey, here, go and use this in your maps, whatever else. And so I actually kind of like the idea of having one of these maps in the center of where these corner areas are going to be. If you go from spawn out to each of these, and then in the center of those 4 quadrants, there'll be this pyramid, with a village inside and everything. And so I'm mostly just kind of good at putting together a lot of things that look like, oh, wow, you have come up with some amazing designs. I'm really good at using what it is there to make good maps. And so my next step is going to be learning actual game mechanics. And so put in a couple of just quick things and then build areas of preset gaming, preset gaming things, like have game blocks. And when you get there, put you into adventure mode or whatever. And then default text, narration or whatever, that whoever it is that wants to make a game using this thing can put in that, okay, at the first thing, here's the explanation of the quest. And, this is if you want to give them X, Y, and Z, there'll be another set of command blocks that you can program in, and then hook up the redstone to. And just kind of like a build your own game thing, that I'll actually be going and putting in. And it's like, it's hard to actually, it is legitimately hard to explain that particular part of the process without actually getting in and showing how games are done as well. So anyway, I'm going to cap this off because I do need to generate the world, which is I end up spending at least a couple hours a day sitting there and either holding down the W key after I'm just lined up and just because to be able to put the maps together, I had to generate the entire 30,000 main map that everything is going into. I have to generate the 10,000 block flying island, the 10,000 block flatland, and the 6,000 block terrains that will be used, to go into this. And I've got most of those done. I think I have like 1 or 2 left to actually do. But to be able to do this in the editor, you can't just go and be like, okay, start the world and all right, cool. It's the world does not exist until you've been there. And so I set the world border. I take it up to about 200 and I, get lined up, teleport out to a corner, and then proceed to start flying back and forth until I've got the entire map generated. So that way Amulet, the editor that I use, has a map to edit. So anyway, I'm going to cap this off and actually get to the rest of my day because I just realized I'm an hour ahead of my own schedule. So this is actually kind of cool. So I will talk to y'all later.